Yes, Your Honor.
In which position on which calendar, please, ma'am?
Number 3 on prelim B.
All right. Ms. Washington will make the record. This is the matter of State of Georgia versus Barron Brantley, case 19 CP 187761. Record should reflect that Mr. Brantley is present in court, being represented by Ms. Riona Bray, who is also present. The DA's office is being represented by Mr. Adam Abadi. And Ms. Bray, Mr. Abadi, is there any reason we can't proceed now?
State's ready, Your Honor.
Defense is ready, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Abadi, call your first witness, sir.
State will call Detective Mike Young.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give the court is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Let's see. I need you to state, spell your first and last name for the record.
Detective Michael Young, Y-O-U-N-G.
Say good morning, Detective Young.
Good morning.
Can you tell the court how you are currently employed, sir?
I'm an investigator with the City of Atlanta Homicide Department.
And how long have you been an investigator with the City of Atlanta?
About 8 years now.
And how long have you been in the homicide unit?
6 years.
Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention to November 6th of 2019. Did you receive a phone call regarding a missing persons report?
The report actually happened on November 1st. Okay. November 6th, I was assigned to the case.
Okay, and why were you assigned to the case?
At that point, it became a critical missing person. The homicide unit handles critical missing persons.
Okay, and at the time that you received that call on the 6th of November, can you tell the court what your first steps were to begin your part of the investigation?
I read the report, and I wanted to start out with the last place that Alexis was seen and the last person she spoke to. So I wrote a search warrant for the apartment she stayed in. I went to the apartment to process the apartment.
Okay, and just for the court's knowledge, when you say Alexis, who was the missing person?
Alexis Crawford.
Okay, and you said you did a search warrant for her apartment. Where was her apartment located?
At 765 McDaniel Street Southwest, apartment 1429.
Okay, and is that here in Fulton County, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and after you got the search warrant signed, can you tell the court what you did in the apartment?
Myself and the homicide unit went over just to look for anything that may be out of place, search for any signs of what may have happened to Alexis, just try to trace her steps to see where she may be.
And when you did that, did you find anything inside the apartment?
I only found like a small drop of blood on Jordan Jones' bathroom.
Okay. And you said Jordan Jones. At the apartment, did Miss Crawford, the victim in this case, did she live there alone?
No, she stayed with Jordan Jones.
Okay. And was Jordan Jones her only roommate?
Yes.
Okay. And when you got to the apartment off of McDaniel Street, was anybody there?
No.
Okay. After searching the apartment, can you tell the court what your next steps were in your investigation?
I wanted to contact Jordan Jones to talk to her. Maybe she could help me out, help me find where she was at. She was in Michigan at the time. She said she was coming down on that Friday, which was the 8th.
Okay. And did she come down on the 8th?
Yes.
And where did she come to headquarters to speak with you?
Yes.
Can you tell the court, I guess, how that interview precipitated and how it proceeded?
The interview started out, she stated she did not know where Alexis was at. She stated she went to the liquor store at Ralph David Abernathy around 11:23 to 11:40, purchased a bottle of Jose Cuervo tequila, came back, made a hamburger, went in her room, and went to sleep.
And when you say, and I don't mean to interrupt you, when you say that she told you that she went to get a bottle of Jose Cuervo tequila with the victim, what date was that?
That was on 10/30,
Okay.
October 30th.
And I apologize for interrupting. So on October 30th, she told you about the liquor bottle, and I believe you stopped at making a hamburger.
Yes, she stated she came home and made a hamburger. Alexis went to her room. She went to her room to go to sleep. About an hour or two later, she came back out of her room. Alexis' door was open. The bottle of Jose Cuervo was gone, and Alexis was gone.
Okay. And did that, I guess, in the interview that you did with Ms. Jones that day?
No.
Okay. What else, I guess, occurred during that interview?
Ultimately, we confronted her with some surveillance footage we had from the parking deck. It shows at 3:11 a.m. on the 31st, Jordan Jones and Brantley going out to Jones' car, backing up. They're off camera for about 6 or 7 minutes. There's a door that leads to her apartment where she backed up to. Leave the apartment complex at 3:18 a.m. and they return at 4:09 a.m.
Okay. And you referenced this surveillance footage from a deck. Is this a deck that's located in the apartment complex that's located at McDaniel Street or on McDaniel Street?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And prior to speaking with Ms. Jones on the 8th, what other investigative, I guess, tools had you acquired through your investigation in those 2 days?
We pulled Alexis Crawford's phone records. We pulled Barron Brantley's phone records also.
And when you, did you have an opportunity to look at Ms. Crawford's phone records?
Yes.
And can you tell the court, at any point when you were looking through the phone records, did it show that the phone went off the network or was stopped using the network?
Yes, at 2:52 a.m. on October 31st, her phone dropped off the network.
And after it dropped off the network, were you able to tell from the phone records if a call was ever made from her phone again?
No.
Okay.
No further calls.
And did you confront Ms. Jones with that information?
Yes.
Okay. What other information had you acquired in the days that you had begun to investigate with Ms. Jones?
We learned that Jordan Jones wanted to replace a plastic bin that was in her house.
And how were you able to determine or learn that information?
Her friend, Ayanna Williams, sent the text messages to the police department. We got a lot of tips during this Mrs. Persing's case.
Okay. And when you say a plastic bin, what kind of bin are you talking about?
It's about a 45-gallon bin. It has wheels. It's black with red handles and a top.
Okay. And through your investigation, speaking with Ms. Ayanna, were you able to determine why she, the co-defendant, Ms. Jones, was asking her to purchase a bin?
At that time, no.
Okay. Since that time and through your investigation, have you been able to determine why she was asking for a bin?
Yes, from Ms. Jones.
Okay. Now, as you continue to speak to Ms. Jones, can you tell the court what information you learned throughout the remainder of that interview?
So once we approached Ms. Jones with she stated she stayed in the house all night by herself. She stated nobody else drove her car. She stated she didn't leave the house until the next morning. I confronted her with the surveillance footage and said, "You left out at 3:11. You was with somebody." Then she finally stated that Barron Brantley was inside the house with her. Her and Alexis got into a fight, and during that fight, Barron Brantley came outside of the bedroom and choked Alexis.
Okay. And I just want to back you up for a second. Did she explain or tell you what the fight was about?
She said she couldn't remember because she was drinking.
Now, through your investigation, were you able to determine if there was any conflict between Ms. Jones and Ms. Crawford prior to her being killed on October 31st?
After Brantley was arrested, I wrote another search warrant for the apartment, went back with the crime scene unit. We blacked out the windows and we did a search for blood, and we found blood inside of the living room that was cleaned up. We also found a sponge that had blood and hair on it.
Okay. And I guess through your investigation before October 31st, had Ms. Crawford been to the hospital for any reason?
Yes.
Okay. And